thanks for joining us again today. First of all, welcome to all three of you. Brilliant to hear that you're all going to be staying on at Plainmoor again next season, obviously whenever that season does kick off. What was it that made you to sign on for the club for another year? Whips, if we can start with you on that one, what made you want to stay at Torquay United for another year?
I think the amount I played last season obviously benefited me on and off the pitch, so that was beneficial and kind of played a big part in why I wanted to sign again. The way the gaffer's working, the mentality of the players, everything, and the way he wants to go about it next season in basically getting promoted. So yeah, that was a big factor why I signed.
Because you'd had a bit of a frustrating spell at your previous club, Ben, isn't it? But obviously, once you came to Plainmoor, you turned into being a crowd favourite very, very quickly with the Yellow Army. Yeah,
last season was, like you say, up and down, but it was good to come down and play a lot. That helped me a lot, and hopefully I can do that more next season.
Liam, what made you want to commit to another year at Plainmoor? Obviously, you've been at Torquay United longer than anybody else in the squad now.
Yeah, getting close to my testimonial. No, I'm joking. But I just enjoy playing for the club. It's a massive club, really, and the support are massive. And you know, every time I play for the club, I just feel the love. So you know, it's nice as a footballer when you know you play for a club and you feel the love from the fans and the club itself, and it just makes you more enthusiastic every time you're playing, and it just makes you happy. So it was a bit of a no-brainer for me signing on.
Obviously, you've been at a few different clubs, both in the UK and also you had a spell in Sweden as well, didn't you? But so there must be some times where obviously you feel that bond with the supporters more than others. But it certainly worked out really, really well since you've been at Torquay. You've been a real favourite as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been at some clubs where you know the support and the passion from the fans isn't as high as other clubs, but that's the thing I loved about this club, the passion from the supporters. Even when we was in Conference South, and you know, you're getting fans travelling on Tuesday nights to not very nice places, and you know that helps the players on the pitch when the fans are so passionate as well. So. Yeah, the fans are definitely up there with some of the most passionate I've played in front of.
And Wince, you're another player that's just gone strength to strength since arriving at Plainmoor. Is that the progression that you've made in your career one of the main reasons why you've decided to stay at Torquay United?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the main thing is being how happy I am and how much I'm enjoying my football since I've been at Torquay the past 2 years. How much I've improved, learning. I'm still learning quite a lot, and I feel like there's still a lot more to learn from the gaffer and the management as well. So that was a big part of me signing.
And obviously, with a lot of the other players deciding to do the same thing and stay at Torquay United, that must be nice that you can see the progression of the club, and we're all going forward as one, with the majority of the players also choosing to sign on again.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's important in keeping the main bulk of the squad together. And we've been together now, majority of us, for 2 years. And we all get on really well. And I think that's important when you go out onto the pitch and train with each other every day and spending time away from football together. Then when you go onto the pitch, it shows, you know, and you're helping each other out, and you might run that extra bit for your teammate or stick your head in or something where it hurts, you know. I think that's really important.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so, Whips, obviously you joined the club in the autumn last year. Obviously, the current situation, I mean, there's been some scary figures out there about how many players are potentially going to be out of contract during the close season. What's it like when you're a player that's out of contract, coming towards the end of their contract? Because it must be unlike a lot of most other professions out there. It must be a worrying time.
Yeah, definitely. I think the lads that are going to be out of contract in the summer are going to worry, because especially with the crisis we're in at the minute, you're not going to know where your next paycheck is going to come from. Torquay have been good in the fact that they offered the deals quite early. Not many clubs have done that, from what I can see. So that's a positive on their behalf. But I think for the lads out of contract, they're going to be thinking, well, when are we going to start? When's this all going to end? And I'm not sure. Well, no one actually knows when it is going to do.
Yeah, I mean, Liam, this is a close season like no other. You must be obviously relieved not to have to be fighting it out for a contract with all the other players again this close season.
Yeah, definitely. Like Wint said, it's nice to have the security and the fact knowing that you've got a club to come back to once the season starts. And, you know, as footballers, a lot of the time you can get a lot of mental pressures that, you know, people don't necessarily see. People see all the good stuff and the good stuff of football, but they don't see times like this where people are out of contracts and, you know, not knowing if you're going to have to move house, not knowing when you're even starting back, you know. But as footballers, the main thing we need to focus on as well is at this time is just it's a bit of a break at the moment, but you got to just keep fit. So when you're ready, when you get that call, you're ready to go. So yes, difficult times, but I think we've all probably been in that situation before, and it's not nice. And you know, it's nice. We're coming back with Torquay, and yeah, so just grateful for that, really.
Wince, I guess with the contract situation out of the way, nice and early doors, like it was last year, actually, on the way to the National League South title, does mean that you can concentrate on your game and your preparation for the new season without that added worry.
Yeah, definitely. I think for any footballer and anyone, when you're just technically unemployment. So I think when you're out of contract and you're unemployed, you're worried about things like money, where you're going to live, and things like that. Lucky for me, I'm younger, so I've got home I can still go back to. But Torquay have been good in that they've offered the contracts early, and we've got most of the players tied down now. So it gives you something to work towards as well whenever football will be returning. And like you said, it takes away that worry of where the next paychecks come in, and you can just focus on the football side of things and keeping fit and healthy. Yeah.
Now, one of the small positives with this extended break that we've got is it does give players that have suffered from injury, as obviously both Wince and Liam have actually been succumbed to last season. It does give them an extra bit of time to recover from those. Wince, if we can just come to you first of all, how frustrating was it with the injuries? Although that you largely avoided the injuries yourself, anything long term, there must be a burning desire within the squad to try and put those frustrations from last year behind you all, because it must have been frustrating when you couldn't play the same 11 from one game to the next.
Yeah, it was frustrating. It was a difficult time for the squad. Obviously, there was numerous injuries. I think we dealt with it quite well up until there was, obviously, it affected our back four when Diz got injured at Maidstone. Before that, we was on a really good run. And who knows what could have happened if the injuries didn't happen. But unfortunately, these things do. And the lads have bounced back from it now, and hopefully they could play right this season. But yeah, you're right. Like it's not easy being part of a squad that's obviously the lads are getting injured, and it's not their fault. It's like Diz broke his ankle. You can't, stuff like that can't be helped. But next year, if we can avoid things like that happening, hopefully we can push up the table and push for promotion.
And Liam, it must be particularly disappointing for you because obviously you've been an ever-present in the title-winning campaign in National League South. Obviously went in the team at the start, which was you were recuperating, got back into the side. Like Witz just said there, we were on a terrific run of form. And then obviously to pick up the injury in the FA Cup game must have been, compounded it.
Yeah, that's from that moment, that FA Cup game, that's just absolutely just killed the whole season. It's just been uphill battle with regards from that point on. Obviously having quite a bad injury, then having operation, then having to do rehab, recover, and then obviously this situation with the world has happened. So it's been a lot to deal with, but you got to take positives from any negative situation. So I could take a positive and say it's given me time to fully get it right. So when we are back in, I'm going to be back firing again. So, it's part of the sport. It's a contact sport. Things happen and can't dwell on it. When you face obstacles, you have to overcome them, and that's what obviously me and Wince got back obviously before the season finished. But when you get obstacles, you have to overcome them, and that's what we're looking to do.
Now, obviously, now that the season has finished, it obviously ended prematurely, Liam. Does that take away a little bit of the pressure where you're thinking, I need to get back, so I want to play a part in the season before it ends, whereas now you can say, okay, I'm going to make sure that I'm absolutely right for when the season does start?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, before, when we was back in, I was probably rushing it and may have been putting the injury at detriment by trying to rush. So knowing the season's finished, everyone's got closure now, and then knowing what you're building to for next season it just creates less pressure on yourself, and it's a good thing that it's all done now, and then now we're just looking forward to when the new season starts.
Wince, obviously you and Davis actually spent a lot of time in rehab together. How do you cope with that as a footballer when you're so used to, like Liam, being in the starting lineup every Saturday, when you know that you're not going to play a part in that Saturday and it's a long way away? How do you manage that yourself?
Yeah, it was hard, but I think the main thing when you're injured is just to stay strong mentally. I think you can get inside your own head quite a lot. You're by yourself quite a lot in the gym, or you're not outside training, which is what you want to be doing. I was quite lucky that I had Diz obviously injured at the same time. Obviously, I didn't want him to be injured, but when you have someone who's been through that in his career and he's been through injuries, having him in the gym with you every day, there might be days where I was down or Diz was down, and we just keep each other working hard. Obviously, there was other boys as well who were injured. We had quite a lot of injuries at the time when I was injured. So just we got around each other really, and kind of physio helped also in the gym, keeping us motivated, and we all knew what the end target was when you're injured, is getting back fit.
Yeah, it's great to hear that there is that camaraderie within the club. And Wit, how important is it with a large part of the squad already signed up for next season, that we everybody at the club starts building this positive winning mentality before the ball has even been kicked, as we are a group that's going to be together next season, although we can't be out there and start putting it into practice in training? How important is it to get that mindset right already?
No, yeah, it's massive. I think, like the lads have said already, having the majority of the squad that's already signed on for next year is going to be a big help to us doing well next season. I think the gaffer obviously saw that as well, and that's why the club have decided to keep the majority of the players. Also, I think with regarding obviously the mental side of it, it's never easy. I've forgotten what I'm going to say then, Dom. I'm not going to lie. There's a magpie outside, and it's just flown into my tree and got stuck. And I was trying to focus on the camera, and I kept looking at that magpie, and I thought it's going to get stuck here. And I couldn't stop looking at it.
Is it still there? Have you got any
He basically forgot what he said, and he's making up a story about
Honestly,
a magpie.
I'm not kidding you. Let me show you. How can I I can't even turn the camera on. It's out there in the tree.
I don't believe it.
Sorry, Dom. I've lost food for thought.
That's not a problem at all. It's I mean, you wouldn't get these things without Zoom. So this is one of the.
Should have sent in the questions yesterday, Dom.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think I'm going to have to take the hit on that one. Yeah. So, Wix, if you want to have another go, how important is it to have a positive mindset and mental part of the game being so important?
I can't even answer it now. I'm looking at Wince's face. He's freaking laughing, Dom. And that I can...
I thought it was Drake. I didn't know it was Wince. I thought it was Drake.
He needs one of Disney's tunes. Honestly, I can't answer it. He's sat there with a face like he's trying to laugh but not laugh. I can't tell.
Okay,
I was going to go about
Sorry.
5 minutes ago, but I tried to be composed. But I was going to go, man.
Well, the Magpies
Which your face is giving me joke.
intervened.
The Magpies done me, Dom.
Wait, so Pete,
Right, Dom, go on. I'm ready. Ask me again.
you're ready now, yeah?
I'm
Okay,
ready,
all right.
I'm
So,
ready.
I mean, if you or the Magpie wants to answer this, it doesn't worry me too much. But how important
It's one
is
for
it?
sorrow as well.
Yeah. it's like that up north, isn't it?
It is, Dom.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
It'd be a seagull if it was down south. So, how important is it to have that winning mentality that you're building in pre-season with the rest of the squad?
Yeah, like the lads have mentioned already, with the lads majority of the lads getting contracts, it helps build that winning mentality. We had it last year whilst we were on a good run. So hopefully the lads that have signed and the lads that get brought into the club can bring that on board and hopefully have success with us next year.
Liam, I don't know how you're going to follow that up. Anything that you want to add about the importance of having a positive mindset during this period?
Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of us would have been on holiday now, so you know that's disappointing. But no, it's just the main thing is everyone's keeping safe at the moment, and you know, focusing on getting back in because it feels like we've not been at football or played football for so long. So I think the excitement level is going to be quite high when coming back in. So that's good. But no, the positive mindset definitely is good to have. And like Wint said that, you know, we've got a lot of the same people together anyway from last season. So when we come back in, it's all going to be natural. It's just going to be back to normal straight away from day one, as opposed to, you know, teams that are bringing in 15 new players and they got to get to know each other and then got to get to see how each other plays. And so with us, it's just going to be back to work again as normal. So, you know, that should help us be ahead of other teams, especially with regards to team spirit and stuff. So yeah, it's only going to be a positive. Yeah,
well, Wints, obviously, even this Zoom calls actually provide its own unusual moments. But how much of a bonus is it that obviously you're going to be with other like-minded people that have been in the squad before and that can only help with the mentality of building a close-knit squad for, you know, with a lot of teams that might be carrying smaller squads next year, and does give us a little bit of a head start.
Yeah, definitely. I think the importance of keeping the squad together it's really important because we all get on really well, and I think that shows on the pitch. We're a close-knit group. I think that's important. In terms of the mentality, I think it's a good chance for us all to keep strong mentally, really. Things like Zoom calls, and it's a chance to get ahead while we can't train as much physically. It's a good chance to get on Zoom calls and just spend time with the boys and have a good laugh.
Great. And Wicks, what's your hopes for next season then? If you had a dream scenario, you can imagine that the season's going to be starting out tomorrow. It's not a hasten to add, not that I've heard of anyway. But what would your dream scenario be for next season? What are your aims for next season personally and also as a team?
Personally, it would be obviously to play as much as I did last season. Hopefully score a few more goals, get a few more assists. But on behalf of the team, I think all the lads can preach for it. It's getting promotion. Liam and Wints were lucky enough the season before to get promoted from the Conference South, and when you see the videos from that season and how much it meant to them, that's what you want to be a part of, and that's a key reason of why a lot of the lads re-signed, because I think that's in their eyes of getting another promotion under their belts, and I think as players we can all see that Torquay have got it in them to do that.
Liam, your aspirations for next season very much the same?
Yeah, definitely. Get back playing, get straight into my good form. Team to get into good form quickly. Get the fans entertained again. Get the fans happy. Get Plainmoor as full as possible, and with the bigger goal to, you know, finish as high as we can, and hopefully that results in promotion. So, you know, that's the main aims for this season. So yeah, that's it.
Wynter, it sounds very much that everyone's buying into, you know, looking at the top of the table once more. How much does it help having that National League South title success behind you? Because it does build that, you know, winning mentality that we were talking about a few minutes ago.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, that was an important season because it gave us a lot of us young boys good experience, and that's what you want as a young player, the experience. And when you're winning titles, you know, it might come down to playoffs. You never know, at Wembley and playing in front of such big crowds. Like we have this season, games like Yeovil away, where it probably wasn't the best, obviously wasn't the best result, but you can take a lot from them games and experience, you know, playing in front of the big crowds, and you learn a lot. So I think that would be good.
Great. Well, it's been very entertaining, lads. Thank you for joining me today. Really do appreciate it. No animals were hurt during the filming of this Zoom conference call, but I think the thing we'll leave you with is the same as ever to the Yellow Army. Take care, keep safe, and we'll see you all again very, very soon.